Welcome to my marvelous, magnificent, majestic, meaningful, mixable, modern, metropolitan Monday video on my YouTube channel and blog. I'm Kate, a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Washington State. Today's video is all about using current Stampin' Up! Products to create cards and crafts. I also sell the products I feature in this video, and I hope you enjoy my free tutorial, and I would love to have you shop with me. The link to my store is in the description below. So today I am once again revisiting the Arrange a Wreath stamp set and the Wreath Builder dies, and I'm actually only using the dies today. I am going to be using holiday rhinestones for some bling. I'm going to be using the Stitched So Sweetly dies to create this little tag for my sentiment. And I am using the Pinewood Planks dynamic textured embossing folder. The color of ink I'm using today is actually Night of Navy. So let me tell you a little bit. I was inspired by this card. This card was featured, I think I saw it I know I saw it on the internet somewhere, and when I went back to find it again and see who had actually done it, I couldn't find it again. So I can't give them credit, but it was very similar, not exactly the same as this one, but very similar to this with the white on white, which I really, really liked. And then I changed up the bow. The bow was the red sheer ribbon, and I didn't have any of that, so this is the mesh, the silver mesh that's in the current holiday catalog. And then these little I see if you can see them, the holly pieces are cut out with the dies from the poinsettia products. So this is what inspired me, and then this is what I decided to make for myself. So I used the Balmy Blue glimmer paper to make the wreaths, and I cut a piece of it 4 by 7, which was large enough to put both of them on at the same time. And then I also cut a piece of the adhesive sheets the same size, put it on the back of the glimmer paper, and then ran it through. So these will be sticky on the back when I peel that up. And when you're doing that, you either got to kind of run them back and forth through several times or shim it in order for it to cut all the way through all of the layers. And so you'll want to be careful to do that. Okay, I started with standard Whisper White thick cardstock, 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. You hear me say this every time, to make an A2 greeting card, side fold. Then I cut a piece of Whisper White regular. It is 4 1/4 by 5.5, and I embossed it with the Pinewood Planks embossing folder, and I just love that embossing folder. It just looks so awesome. And I'm going to attach this flat to the front. You could raise it up and it would look really nice, but I decided to attach it flat. Get those 3 sides lined up. There we go. So there's the front of the card. This is like really super simple. It could be actually a simple Saturday card. So now these have the sticky on the back. I'm going to put this one down first, and I'm using my pokey tool, whatever you want to call it, pick tool, to get one piece of that backing to come up, one little bit of it, so I can get a hold of it, and then we will pull the backing off carefully so we don't tear our wreath, but it will come off. Just takes a second. This is much easier than trying to glue this on. Of course, you wouldn't have to put glue on every little spot. You could just go with a few here and there, and it would hold just fine. But here we go. I'm always saying, oh, I should have put adhesive on these and made life easy. And then I don't do it. So this time I did. Okay, and I'm trying to kind of center it and staying more towards the top of the card. I'm laying it down easy so I can make sure that it's going to stay round, and I've got good. And there it is. Now we'll do this one. And like I said, this is going to end up being a very super simple card. It does have layers, but, you know, it's still really easy to do. You could do, you know, if you don't mind cranking, you could do quite a few of these without too much trouble at all. Okay, and there's the second layer. And just, I kind of try and set it so that these leaves fit in between, so that the background shows through as best as I can. Now you could do this and maybe put some mini glue dots and raise it up from the other one, but I didn't. That's the way I liked it. Now, I say that I used the Holiday Rhinestone Basic Jewels, and they have these beautiful dark blue jewels in there. But I used them all up. So what I did, and here's what they look like. Okay, but I didn't have enough of them to do all of the little clusters that I wanted to do. So I went into my regular rhinestone package and pulled out the 3mm rhinestone, which is the smallest one. And I used the dark Night of Navy Blends pen and colored enough of these rhinestones to use to make what I wanted to make for this card. You can do that with the blends because they dry permanent on non-porous surfaces. So you're able to, basically you could color your rhinestones to match any card that you wanted, any color scheme. And so I'm just placing these on here in 3-piece clusters, little clusters like they would if they were red berries, except they're blueberries. Berries. Anyway, I'm just looking for that cold, wintry, snowy kind of feeling with this card, and I feel like I did a pretty good job of achieving that. And I made enough to put 4, I think, on, but I don't know if I'm going to do all of them. We'll see. Because there's also going to be a bow. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and put another one on here, right about in here, I think. And then I used the, what's this called? It's called Seaside Spray Metallic Ribbon. I cut about a 10-inch piece because I'm going to make my bow. And the way I make my bows is I just take and make a loop like that. And then I make a second loop like this. And then I cross them over each other like an X, put it through the hole, and pull it down. That's how I make my bows. And then you can just tighten them up and shape them up a little bit. I use more than I need because I need enough to get a hold of to make my loops and everything. And then I'm just going to trim away the extra. And I think I want this side to be just a little bit bigger. There we go. I think that's big enough. So then we'll trim those off. It's time to sharpen my scissors. Okay, I'll trim those off. And I'm going to put this on with just a glue dot on the back of the bow. Standard procedure for those of us that make cards. You already know that. And I'm going to stick it to the side like this. I didn't want it centered. Okay, then I used that cute little scalloped rectangle from the Stitch So Sweetly. Now you can't see the stitching, but I just loved the scalloped edges on that. And that's going to go on here. And then this little piece is 3/4 by whatever I didn't write down. 3/4 by 1.5. And that's where my sentiment's going to go. And I just used a very simple Merry Christmas. And that was in another set. And I'm not sure which one I used, but I'm sure you can find one that will work. And I'm just going to stamp it with this Merry Christmas. I just looked until I found one in my stamp sets that would fit on that tiny little piece, and it fits beautifully. You can see fits absolutely wonderful. And then because this is sticking to this glimmer paper and it's got a lot of texture and that, I'm using the Stampin' Seal Plus so that it'll get a good hold. Make sure I got a lot of it on there. There we go. And it's cut perfect to sit right in the center of that cute little piece, just like that. Isn't that adorable? Ah! And then I'm just going to attach that to the front of the card with a dimensional or two. And you can put it anywhere you want. You could put it here. The reason it ended up here is because I got a little smudge of ink on my card front right there, and I had to cover it up. So then this one ended up a little higher, but it still looks nice. And here's this one, and I think I'm going to put it down here. And there is today's card. Now there's a couple of changes you could make. I loved that mesh ribbon tied in a bow. It just looks so cute. I could have put that on there instead, and it would have been cute. But you see what I went with. So there's today's card. I hope you enjoyed today's video. I hope you'll shop with me, and I thank you for stopping by.